This episode of An Abundance of Naught is brought to you by Amazon.com. Amazon affiliated with us. We're very happy about it. Please go to anabundanceofnaught.com, click on the Amazon banner, and do all your shopping as normal. Bookmark for ease of use. We appreciate it.
And TLDRgamer.com. When you don't have a whole lot of time to read the gaming news and just want the brief excerpts, visit TLDRgamer.com for the core info. Thank you to them for the hosting and bandwidth for our podcast. Enjoy the show.
Hello, welcome in Abundance of Naught. It is, holy crap, that was really fast. It is the 29th January. God, the first month of 2014 is almost over. Garrett here, Brad and Wade, and Wade's kind of getting drunk.
Yay.
Yep, hello.
Hello.
I'm trying, but not as hard, because I have to work tomorrow. He doesn't.
Somebody has to keep this podcast on track.
Someone's got to be making the big ones.
And it sure as heck ain't me.
That's right.
Yeah. We noticed.
So how we doing?
Peachy.
Peachy.
Wonderful.
You're in your favorite little spot in hell,
I am.
and you're loving it.
It's nice and warm.
What is it, 9 degrees today?
I think it was in the teens. I think I got into the teens.
Wow.
Is there
Yeah.
just like snow when you open the curtain?
Just about.
That's New York this time of year is not a place I enjoyed being this time of year.
Why I said that.
Brad and I were
Yeah.
in New York this time of year a couple years ago.
Quite a few years ago.
It was far not comfortable, warm, no.
And Wade, or Karen has lost the ability to talk.
You know, so many like images went through the head, like you two spooning at that particular time, just to keep warm. Yeah.
Anyway,
Moving on.
I do remember having to buy a sweatshirt on the street to wear between my long sleeve shirt and my overcoat just to stay comfortable. So,
You left that door open. I'm
yeah,
sorry, I had to.
New York in late January is just not a fun place to be if you're a Southern California guy.
Yeah.
Southern California.
So how was your weekend?
My weekend, let's see, aside from seeing a movie, I didn't do a whole lot. I think I watched a couple episodes of Season 1 Game of Thrones. I went shopping.
Refresher time.
Yeah, it's refresher time.
Yep.
I'm trying to build up. I went shopping, but that's nothing new to you. And that was pretty much the extent of my weekend. Nothing too crazy, as typical. Spent more money than I should have, which is typical. And, looking forward to the Super Bowl a little bit this weekend. We're not typically sports people, but the family team of the Seahawks is in it, and so we will be probably getting stupid. Well, I say we. I mean myself. But that's fine.
Well,
So, normal.
Shut up. Yes.
well, it's also my birthday on that day, so Seahawks. That'd be a great birthday present.
There you go. Go Hawks.
And I will be rooting against you. Go Broncos.
So
you're
I
going
shall
down.
have you die in a pit.
But,
That's fine. Only after we trample you.
With holy fire.
I've actually expressed the willingness to have a slight wager with our joint boss.
Oh, really?
For a lunch. Yeah, because he says he can't bet against the Broncos. I said, fine by me. Hawks all the way. So, see what comes out of that. He
That
asked
would
if I
be
could afford to lose to him, and I said, well, that depends entirely on the lunch. So, $1.50 Costco hot dog and soda? No problem.
Sounds like fun.
Yep. How was your weekend?
My weekend was nice. We actually got to the movie theater.
The theater. I went to the theater.
Yes, the lovely theater.
At the theater.
Wow.
Yes. We took your recommendation, went and saw Her.
Yes. Victorious.
Yes. It was interesting. I'll give it that. Not my usual kind of movie. Not one I would have probably picked to watch ordinarily, but definitely, it was odd. It definitely gave you some things to think about. It was a head scratcher.
Oh, yeah.
I totally agree. I think it was really well done for what they were going for. Obviously, I believe the movie was up for Best Picture at the Grammys.
Yeah, I think they had like 3 nominees, actually.
I think they did. I didn't pay attention to the Grammys to know who won anything, but for a movie who, so far, according to the websites for generic revenue, it's shown nothing substantial.
Mm-hmm.
To be definitely, it's very interesting that it's a best up for best movie when it's hasn't made anything. Obviously,
it's supposedly not doing well.
Yeah,
It's
correct.
weird. It's kind of like an indie that got real big. I mean, it's like Minecraft.
It's hard to express because it's definitely just a different movie. It's not a topic that appeals to a lot of people, which obviously hurt the business side of it. It was done really well with some really key actors, but it doesn't matter how good something is. If you can't get people to come see it and pay money, you might as well not have made it at all.
There was no advertising, like, at all.
Well, there was some TV ads and stuff, but we don't watch TV that much, so.
I remember seeing some trailers for it in theater. I don't remember what we were watching.
Yeah.
That I saw the trailers on, but it wasn't like this was brand new. I had heard about it, but again, even the trailers didn't really grab me.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying, I think, a week or so ago, is that the trailers express what the movie was about, which is what the trailers are supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the nature of the movie, it was hard to have a trailer that didn't mislead, but was also captivating. And with the way the movie was done and the premise of the movie, that's just hard to do, period.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of bummed it's not doing good because I did enjoy it for what it was. But yeah, moving on.
Yep.
Anything else you want to add?
Tried to stay warm.
What's the weather at home?
It's been in the single digits and upper end of the below zero spectrum.
Wow. Yeah, it got pretty chilly here. It might have got into the 50s. I had to put on long pants.
I bet you did.
Yeah.
It was 48.
Had to put on your big boy pants.
It was 48 when I woke up and walked to the car the other day.
Brad
That's short sleeve weather.
Brad and Kirby are dreaming for 48, and we're sitting there going, man, take this crap out of here.
We ended up with about 18 inches of snow, which for us is not bad at all. That's, they sweep that aside and we keep on going. But
sure.
We ended up with a lot of wind afterwards, so there were places where that 18 inches blew into drifts of 3 feet deep.
Sure.
That causes some problems, especially when our city does a really good job of keeping the roads plowed, but when it's just blowing straight back across the road.
Yeah, you're not accomplishing anything.
Not really. I mean, again, props to the guys; they're doing a wonderful job out there. But it's tough because it just blows right back over.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just got a mental image. Have you seen Santa Claus with Tim Allen?
The Santa Claus?
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen it all the way through. I've seen parts and pieces of it.
Okay.
Did you see the part where he shaves the beard and it just grows back?
I think so.
That's what I got from the snow thing. It's just
nice.
Just like right behind the snowplow is just coming right back in.
Just grows back.
Just grows back. Yeah, that's. I'm definitely not built for the cold. That is a fact.
We had an interesting experience trying to get out Monday. I fly everywhere for work, and my flight was not delayed. Everything came in on time. They had to take on fuel at my home airport to turn the plane around and get back to the connection point. And somebody had forgotten to put the heater on the truck. So we're sitting, waiting to depart, and, it comes right up on the time, and it's like, okay, what's going on? Finally, the captain comes over and announces that there's nothing wrong with the plane. We just don't have enough fuel to get back where we're going, which we all knew. No big deal. But the problem was the refueling truck, the diesel had gelled, and they couldn't get it started.
Jeez.
It was so cold the diesel had gelled.
Wow.
Yeah. So we had to wait a little while. They couldn't get that truck started. They have a reserve truck, and it was in the hangar. So they had to go get it fired up and put, jet fuel in the back of it. And yeah. So.
Very interesting.
Made for an interesting flight on Monday.
Wonderful times at the airport.
Absolutely.
I would know that.
Yep.
Yes. I don't know. Have you ever I don't think your guys have ever had the diesel gel in the refueling trucks.
No, but Wade spends 5 hours a day at an airport.
5?
5 days a week, I meant.
He doesn't work much.
Wow. I'm getting paid really well for only working 5 hours a day.
Well, if you're working 5 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Thank God I'm not.
There you go. Would you like to elaborate on some of your airport stories, or are you just going to sit there in a pile of your own
Drink? Yes, I will sit here and drink. Thank you.
Okay. I guess it's going to be a two-man show.
Anywho, my weekend was actually pretty eventful. Went shooting with some people or friends from work. The guns were a 9mm Beretta and a AR-10W Bushmaster. That's cool. The standard assault rifle, switched to non-automatic, so it's single shot, like a pistol.
Also to make it legal in, almost all states.
Correct.
Yep.
So, it's interesting. Apparently I was shooting too high. I mean, it did not feel like that, but it was a weird feeling to actually shoot something, a rifle, but how do I say this? It was an odd feeling because it didn't feel like I was pointed up that high, but everyone's like, dude, point down. I mean, by the time they're like, alright, that's okay, it's like, I'm shooting at the concrete at the ground. What the hell is going on here?
That's strange.
Sounds like the sights weren't set right.
I was shooting, the scope was, directly on the thing. They're like, you're shooting way too high. I'm like, go down. I'm putting it at the ground here. What is going on?
Yeah, this site must have not been set up because there's no reason for that.
Mm-mm.
That's strange.
But there was at the place there was a Smith & Wesson with a barrel that looked like it was 2 feet long.
Nice.
So the Joker revolver, the Jack Nicholson Joker. He's got a revolver. He pulls the thing out of his pant leg, and the barrel's 3 foot long. Yeah. He shoots the bat plane down with it or something like that.
What it felt like, or what it looked like, it was just the barrel was massive, and this is a revolver. I was like, holy shika.
It'd be interesting to fire, though. I wonder how much or less kick it would have because it's taken that much longer for the bullet to exit the gun versus a standard 6-inch barrel. It'd be an experience.
Something to try.
But it was cool. I mean, on the day I went down there, or up there, it was free rentals, so it's you only pay for the ammo, but it was
nice.
But it was a 40-minute drive, so it was spend $15 on gas to save $10 on renting a shotgun to shoot.
Yeah.
I'll just go down the street at a certain firing range we have.
More
right
local
here.
range, yeah. The one we have down the road, I think they do rifles in some regard. I don't know their schedule, but they're primarily a pistol range, handgun range.
Mm-hmm. It was off because when I first went shooting, with you, Garrett. We only did revolvers.
Yeah, I'm not used to the semi-automatics. I know how revolvers work. So we just rented a couple revolvers and just got way acclimated to shooting a real firearm.
Now, the 9mm Beretta was semi-automatic?
Semi-automatic is a... Yeah.
So, the first time I pulled it up, the guy who was watching the range is like, hold up, you're holding it wrong. I was like, really?
Yeah, I think his hand was too high up on the slide.
Ooh, slide bite.
Yeah, exactly. So...
Well, luckily, caught it. He corrected my holding of the firearm to measure correctly before fire, and everyone was having a nice time. Of course,
there we go.
We then went to TGI Fridays at the block, and thus had the rest of the night.
Yeah, you came home late that night.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like you had a good weekend.
Yeah, actually. I mean, it was
fun.
Finally nice to get out from once.
That's it.
I need more friends.
Something you don't admit to.
Let's be honest. We could all use more friends.
Let's jump into some movies, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right. So this week coming out, we have That Awkward Moment with Zac Efron. This looks like a movie with three buddies.
I didn't know you had an awkward moment with Zac Efron.
I was in the shower. He came in.
Whoa!
It was awkward.
And I am not sleeping tonight.
There's a mental image for you. So it's not getting great reviews. It's only got a 22%, which I'm going to talk to you about in a minute. But it looks like kind of the story of three buddies that go through series of, life's awkward moments, I'm guessing. I saw a trailer where one of Zach's character introduced a girl to his two buddies, and he pointed out that one of the guys just got dumped, and his buddy's like, dude,
really?
What the heck? Like,
a bit too soon.
So I don't know if it's going to be kind of an expression of real, quote-unquote, real-world awkward moments of just things that happen to us, or if it's going to be overdone. But 93% of viewers want to see it, but only 25% of critics liked it. Also coming out this week is Labor Day. This is a Kate Winslet and Josh Brolin kind of, you know what? I didn't even care to read the synopsis. It sounded too much like a chick flick to me. But it centers around a 13-year-old girl who struggles to be the man of his house. A 13-year-old, girl. I said girl. It's a 13-year-old boy who struggles to be the man of his house and care for a reclusive mother. So definitely a whole family drama. Definitely not on my list. That's got a 56% rating. In the box office, we had Ride Along taken first again at 21.3, Lone Survivor at 12.9, The Nut Job at 12.1, and Frozen at 9.1. Honorable mention, I, Frankenstein at 8.6 million.
Didn't that just come out?
It was the only movie to have come out this past Friday.
And it only got an honorable mention.
It only got an honorable mention at 8.6. It was 6th in the box office. And its critic rating, it only got a 5% critic rating. Now...
That's low.
It's low. But see, this is the issue we've talked about in the past of not trusting the critics, because critics go to critique. I read a blog that at Huffington Post that one of their writers went and was actually taking notes throughout the movie. So he had, at 3:10, this just happened. At 3:10, at 3:15, 3:45, the kids in the front row finally noticed I'm taking notes and are laughing at me. But just some of the things that he was saying, talking about the director, sounded like he had no vision and was asking anybody and everyone for direction, and that anything goes, nothing was off limits, and that's how the movie was done. And I didn't get that feeling at all. I didn't get that it was jumpy from scene to scene, or that it was non-coherent in a sense. You understood what was going on throughout the bulk of the movie.
Okay, sorry. Keep in mind, we did see this last week, throughout the week.
We saw it.
Just to clarify.
Yeah, saw it on Sunday night. So,
Okay.
I don't know if it's because of the genre of it being a fantasy, and that maybe critics, not as many went to it. Maybe they're being harsher because it's fantasy. I don't know. I wish some of the critic reviews would actually say why it wasn't good, as opposed to we just didn't like it. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure I could track that stuff down if I started looking at different sources. But I thought it was really good for what it was. I thought they could have done a few things better in that Aaron Eckhart's makeup as Frankenstein could have been pushed a little further than it was. All he was just...
dude with a lot of scars.
Yeah, he had a lot of seams on him from when he was patched together, but I thought it would have been cool if they maybe had a different eye. One eye color was different than the other, or he had patches of his hair were different because it was from a different corpse, or just something funky that just kind of... He is a compilation of source material.
Well, I see where you're coming from, but I could also see the reverse of that is where they didn't want to make him look too off. To where it's because the whole movie was like he's not a monster, so they don't want to make him look too messed up.
But his character throughout the movie also was saying that he's not human and I am a monster, and so they should have had, because one of the lines was you're only a monster if you act like one. If they would have made him more monstrous visually, it may have given more ammunition to that vibe.
Still,
a lot of the special effects were really good. The actual premise of the movie is not Frankenstein versus the gargoyles. It's
Frankenstein and the gargoyles fighting demons.
Well, it's a religious base in that gargoyles are sent down from archangels to protect the world of man from the demons who have been sent up by Satan to take over purgatory, in a sense.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. I mean, that's truly the premise of the movie. What happens throughout, I'll not get into. But the special effects for the gargoyles were really good. The demon effects were really good.
I thought the demon transmission could use a bit more. It's like, skin burns off, and here's the demon face. Okay.
Yeah, but it was a smooth transition. It didn't look like, okay, great, they just put a mask on. Mm-hmm. It was pretty well done. If you saw the Underworld movies, the guy that plays Ray's, one of the werewolves, is a black guy with a super deep voice. He's in this movie along with, like we said before, is Bill Nye. I enjoyed it. I would recommend it to people, even though it's got a bad critic rating. But I'm a self-proclaimed horrible movie critic because I allow myself to be sold on the premise that the movie is doing. You're selling me a story. I've already paid you the money. I might as well believe what I paid for. And I get more enjoyment out of the movies, I think, the people that are going in there trying to be overly analytical and super critical.
Now, for me, I think the movie could have used more polish. I mean, when it's like, we are the Gargoyle Order, it's like, really? You couldn't come up with a better name than Gargoyle Order? We are gargoyles and we are in an order. Well, just put those two together then. It's like, wow. Like, you could have been like, we're the Sacred Order of Stone or something, but like...
Yeah, I mean, I get that.
It's for me, it could have used a bit more polish, a bit more creativity, but nevertheless, I mean, it was... You could do a lot worse for the money you spent.
So it sounds like one pro and one so-so.
One decent, but could have been better.
Alrighty.
I think we can easily stick with that.
Sounds good.
Now, I'm going to actually try to do something here in the future when we have maybe a little bit better movies that are coming out this week, but I'm going to start to try to run a correlation between critic rating, show times that are available for the movies being released for the opening weekend.
Oh, yeah, we had a problem with this, I think.
Yeah, because we wanted to see our Frankenstein on Friday, but it was only offered at like 3 showtimes for regular screening, regular resolution, not 3D, whatever.
Which could have hurted sales, actually.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at. And Saturday and Sunday at the more local theater, it was only offered at 2 showtimes. It was the only movie to drop this week, and it had such limited showtime. So what I want to try to see is how much critic rating affects available showtime, and then available showtimes versus revenue to see, even if a movie only made, in this case, $8 million versus maybe 20, is it because the $20 million movie got 4 times the showtime availability? Was it because of quantity? I'm just curious to know that. So I'm going to try to run some numbers for future podcast discussions.
This is going
Statistics.
This is going to create some analytic theories and quantum numeric calculations.
This is what happened when you try to think too much and you don't know what you're talking about.
I don't need to know what I'm thinking about when I'm drinking too much.
I don't know what I'm...
Let's do the news.
Let's jump right into it because we're going nowhere fast.
Yes, we are.
Wow.
That was definitely wheel spinning.
Way to go, Wade.
Shoot.
The only way to get around. Just spin your wheels.
Well, if the wheels don't spin, you don't go anywhere.
Wheels
Exactly.
on the bus go round and round.
And this has been an abundance of drunk shenanigans.
I'm not that drunk yet.
Alrighty. Yeah, the listeners don't buy it. You're selling it, but the listeners don't buy it.
Okay.
Like Amazon. Anywho, go ahead. I'm just going to shut up.
I completely lost my groove there.
Yeah, you're doing the news and you're starting us off, so...
I'm doing the news. Do you guys remember that Google bought Motorola?
Did we talk about that?
I don't know if we talked about that or not. This was
Then
back
I don't
in...
remember.
Yeah.
Probably not. This was 2012. May of 2012, Google bought Motorola for $13 billion. 12.5. Today,
Nice.
or this week, they have announced that they are going to be selling Motorola to Lenovo, a Chinese electronics manufacturer, the ones that bought ThinkPad off of IBM. They're selling it for $3 billion.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, I know Lenovo makes some pretty decent laptops and gaming computers.
Yes, they do.
I've been told to look there for my next potential rig.
You know, ThinkPads were a really, really well respected brand when when IBM owned it and ran it, and they sold the entire division to Lenovo. And from what I've read, they kept up the quality of it, and it has continued to be a premium brand, a really well made brand. So now they're getting into cell phones. With their purchase of Motorola. Now, it sounds like Google took a bath on the cost here. I mean, they bought it for $13 billion and sold it for $3 billion. However, it does note that the agreement that was reached, Google keeps a lot of Motorola's patents, and that's the valuable part. You know, Google has its agreements with manufacturers already, like Samsung and HTC, etc. So I don't think they're that broken up over not making their own phone, but owning the patents to all this cell phone technology is certainly going to come in handy in the future.
Interesting. So I wonder if did Google take some of the technologies and trademark or re-copyright so they'd have more ownership over stuff that they needed and sold off more or less the scraps to Lenovo?
Well, the patents are transferable. So when they bought Motorola, they got all of Motorola's patents with it. So they're keeping hold of those. The rights to the technology they're keeping.
Okay.
Most of it. Not all of it. I mean, it's not like they're selling Lenovo an entire bunch of crap, but it is the leftovers.
Gotcha.
They've taken what they want, and, you know, they're selling what's left.
Very interesting.
Yep. We're a wacky world of business.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually crazy to think and look into the amount of subsidiaries that Google does own.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think many people realize that they own a ton of crap.
Yep.
And pretty crazy for a search engine, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're now a marketing company, but even so, that's, they're into a weird array of stuff for search and marketing.
Pretty much, yeah. Everything all over.
And one of the things that I have trouble at times trying to wrap my head around is, they bought it for $13 billion and they sold it for $3 billion. So that's a $10 billion deficit.
Yep.
And what did they get out of it? Well, they've got nothing tangible out of it. They've got rights to technology that, little pieces of paper that says we own, how to do this function.
Sure.
It's $10 billion for,
frivolous information, quote unquote.
Well, yeah, it's not like they didn't buy a building or, something substantial that you can show. They bought the rights to some technology.
Yeah.
But, that's the critical stuff right now.
There's something to be said about a company who can lose $10 billion on a buy-sell transaction
and still be happy with it.
Not be affected. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
we got what we wanted. Thank you. It cost us $10 billion, but we got it.
Yeah. Think about that. That's crazy. Well. Very cool. Wade?
Yep. Well, crazy business practices. Try to have that as a write-off. Anywho, we have a recent Titanfall beta announcement. Now, this was actually following a couple of funny back and forth issues. Recently, a few lucky people were sent emails from Respawn, the Titanfall's developer, for testing. Now, this game is still in alpha, and so once word got out, Titanfall's or Respawn's president or executive head, whatever you want to call him, stated that this is only a technical test, and that we're not going to be inviting masses of people. Well, continuing on to January 27th, NeoGAF users found a publication, or a leak from a publication, French publication by Xboxygen, which is actually relatively close to Respawn's headquarters, stating that there will be a beta on February 14th to February 19th. Now, that's Valentine's Day.
Yes.
So are we going to see several of annoyed girlfriends that their boyfriends decided to play with big, gigantic robots? Then take them out to dinner.
If the women are smart, then they found someone else to take them out to dinner.
So it was an odd.
Where are the priorities, guys?
Odd back and forth to where then the president head of Respawn tweeted out, super secret announcement time. There will be beta for the the Xbox One and the PC. More details will be coming in the following day from him. So, we will be seeing a beta closely soon, next month. I will see about getting that for our channels. And it was it was really weird to see the back and forth and the leak from Xboxygen and how people from NeoGAF found it. It's actually Xboxygen is a French publication, so someone would have to understand French to actually to find this leak.
Well, I wonder where is NeoGAF based out of? Are they American? Are they French?
I don't really know. From anything, we have sites that are, even American in origin sound odd.
It could be a French publication also that is recycling the data and translating it over too. We'll never know. We won't know.
And keep in mind, this was also the same game that was caught under fire for only having 6 on 6. Whew. Sorry, team deathmatch.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a next generation game, and players are judging its ability because of its limited player to player capabilities.
Something I don't have a problem with as long as the game runs smoothly.
I will give up players for higher frame rates.
Well, to be honest, less players, more whiny kids who think they're pro.
Was that a correlation, or was that a weighing of two options?
That was having less players means less of them, which is better for me. That I don't have to hear them whine and complain and.
Keep in mind, people in podcast land can't see your hand saying one's better than the other.
Well, that really didn't need to be said, but congratulations.
Your grammar could have been better.
Well, you know what? What's your topic?
My topic. Bitcoin exchange CEO has been arrested.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. The founder of a prominent Bitcoin exchange company was arrested and charged with illegal scheme to sell the digital currency, known as Bitcoin, to customers trafficking narcotics on the black market website known as Silk Road. Charlie Shrem, who's 24, is the chief executive of BitInstant, who is the company is a Bitcoin distribution website, so not the founder of Bitcoins, but he runs a company that turn and burn, essentially. He has been busted for selling and pushing the digital currency on the black market website known as Silk Road, as well as purchasing narcotics with Bitcoin. Now that's a little bit. That part gets a little sketchy to me because in reading the article, Bitcoins are kind of preferred in the black market in the world due to them being primarily non-traceable. So how did he get popped with that?
You don't put your name on the email.
You don't put no signature.
I haven't looked at all the details of it. I haven't had the time to really dig into the whole issue. But as I understand it, when a Bitcoin is traded, it does have a little bit of a trace of where it came from. Now, normally that's not a problem because you can make a new account whenever you want to.
Sure.
However, if you get caught holding that account, they can trace the Bitcoin back to a numeric account number, and that means nothing. But if they catch you and you happen to be holding that particular account number, well, now they can tie it together.
Gotcha.
I believe that's how it works.
That would make some degree of sense. There's a side story here. Shrem was also involved business-wise with... One second. It just was right here. What were the twins that were... Oh, the Winklevoss brothers. So Charlie was involved with them in one of his Bitcoin deals. They came out and made a statement about him being arrested and obviously said they would be in full support of the government and their laundering laws. The company that they were involved with is committed to, quote, abide by all applicable laws, including money laundering laws. So, he's definitely up for some heat. He's supposed to appear in court on Monday. But according to the Huffington Post and this article, which was released a couple days ago, a single Bitcoin was valued at the time at $800. And I know they got upwards of $1,000 at one point.
Yes.
So its fluctuation kind of makes it, to me, something of quite a bit of a gamble. You know, if I bought 3 Bitcoins at $1,000 a piece, and a couple weeks later they dropped $200 to $300 in value, that sucks.
Yeah, there's a lot of volatility in it.
But I guess because of its fairly anonymous nature, it's still preferred. Shrem also owns a bar in Manhattan that is one of the first companies to accept Bitcoins in the standard economy. So, kind of interesting.
I'm sorry, what was that? The Winklevoss brothers?
The Winklevoss?
That sounds like a bad video game boss.
Yeah, but if you ever saw the Facebook movie...
No.
No.
The Winklevoss brothers they claim to be the pioneers of Facebook, that Zuckerberg stole their idea and
this is them?
made millions. This is them, yeah.
Still sounds like a really bad... It still sounds like a video game boss where, like, 2 guys jump out of somewhere and be like, subtitle, The Winklevoss Brothers. It's like...
Winklevoss.
Oh, Winklevoss.
Yeah.
Even worse.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure they come from, like, big and old money, but...
Okay, so it's 2, like, old fat guys jump out of nowhere and just be like, The Winklevoss.
So here it says, Shrem's company recently received $1.5 million in a funding round led by the Winklevoss Capital, the venture capital firm led by the twin brothers Tyler and Cameron, associated with Mark Zuckerberg. But, yeah, let's get off the black market. So, in partnership of money laundering and buying narcotics with Bitcoin, he's under fire. That's for sure.
I'm shocked.
Bum, bum, bum.
Well, while we're on the subject of digital security...
Gee, is that time again?
It is that time again. It is time for an abundance of NSA.
Oh, I gotta extract that sound clip.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, Internet.
So, this week's little tidbit is a program that has been referred to as the Golden Nugget by the NSA. And it is a continuation of their love affair with mobile data. This time, instead of collecting, cell phone records and who you're calling and chatting with, they want the data and are collecting the data from the actual apps that you use on your phone. 2 that were mentioned include Google Maps and this really big national security threat. Wait for it. Angry Birds.
Just gotta watch out for those.
I'm still scratching my head after we talked about this in pre-show.
Just gotta watch out for those birds, man. Those birds are mad.
It's those pigs. You gotta kill the pigs. Gotta kill the pigs.
Pigs. I mean, haven't you ever played the game?
Have
you never played the game? Okay, but there are birds that you throw and they blow up. Obviously, this is terrorism training.
Clearly. I mean,
they are threatening the national supply of bacon.
No, it's suicide. It's a suicide training app. It's a suicide bomber training app.
To threaten the supply of bacon.
Well, that too.
Yes.
I mean, they don't.
They found our weakness.
There are on a more serious note, there are some serious implications from this. One that was mentioned in the article, I had never heard of the app. I don't know if you guys had. It's called Grindr.
I'm not
It's
familiar.
a geolocation-based hookup app for finding, people to spend some time with. The implications here are, I'm reading from the copy, I'm not familiar with it, that you share sensitive information such as sexual orientation and preferences and, looking for people to hook up with. Well, if they're tapping the information coming out of this, I mean, they're learning a lot about you.
Only as much as you're willing to provide.
Agreed. But you have never explicitly been willing to provide this to them. You're providing it. I believe we had this discussion regarding Facebook. You're providing this information to this service or to this app in exchange for a service, namely finding you somebody to play with. you're not exchanging this information with NSA willingly. They're stealing it.
How terrible would that be? Hey, NSA, here's my profile for a dating site. Ship it out there for me. Thanks. NSA is now playing matchmaker.
Apparently.
No, I'm sorry. I literally just had a very weird story that just went through my head in about this time that we were talking with Angry Birds. Now, we were going through the terrorist thing, and it was like, now I just got this visual story that was like, we have Ahmed and Habib. I'm sorry if that is very offensive.
That's only slightly stereotypical.
It was like, Angry Birds is being used as a training device for suicide bombers. Like, hey, Ahmed, what we need to do is get a gigantic slingshot. Then throw ourselves using this apparatus. It's like, really? People need to focus on Angry Birds as a potential terrorist training device.
That's what I'm trying to figure out is what, aside from the quantity of play and how good someone is at a digital game, how does that have anything to do with national security?
I'm not sure how they're tying that together. Rovio, the Angry Birds studio, of course, came out vigorously denying that they have anything to do with this. And given what else we know about how the NSA is working, I'm inclined to believe them, actually. Most of these companies.
You think NSA is just acquiring the data and it's that they're not giving the... I mean, they've got to be able to acquire the data somehow. How is it being procured?
It's that one... It's those people that can't get that third star on level 154. They've tried over 1,000 times to get that third star. It just drove them crazy.
Way back when we first started covering, when the whole story initially broke, one of the first stories that came out is how the NSA had worked closely with AT&T to install a fiber tap on one of the main, or not just one, but several of the main fiber trunk lines that are the backbone of the internet. So, given the cooperation that they've had from the telcos, it's entirely possible that they have a tap on, everybody connects to the internet through an internet service provider, even companies. It's just a bigger ISP. So
that stands for Internet Service Provider.
Correct. So if they have the cooperation of the service providers, the telephone companies, etc., then, I don't know the exact details, but let's assume for the moment that Rovio, the maker of Angry Bird, gets their internet connection through AT&T. Well, AT&T and NSA are already working together. So the NSA just goes to AT&T and asks for a tap on where the Rovio connection comes into the AT&T routing facility. Rovio needs to know nothing about it.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I mean, I follow the logic.
And they have done this on other things. It's been that much has been proven. So, all these vigorous denials from the companies. There are certain things, they have gotten some requests for information. But as far as the slides that we've gotten from Snowden that, the NSA is gathering vast amounts of direct access data, the companies have all come out and denied it, and I'm inclined to believe them. I think they're tapping it from their service providers, not from the companies themselves.
Yep. Yeah. It's a whole different, the different mindset from most people, but to a computer guy, it's just backdoor access.
Absolutely. On a positive note this week, though, in an abundance of NSA, a couple of petitions, I believe they are. I'm trying to see where they are from. Sweden, maybe? I will need to find that out for sure. However, Edward Snowden has been nominated for the 2014 Nobel Peace Prize for his work in contributing to a more stable and peaceful world by exposing this vast abuse of governmental power.
That's awesome.
Yep. So apparently, the nomination process is fairly easy. There are several dozen people that get nominated each year, so this obviously does not guarantee that he is going to get anything. However, I think it's cool that he's been nominated for it, at least.
He's wanted by multiple governments for good and bad things, and now he's nominated for a Peace Prize.
Yep.
Easiest way to do it, spy on everyone.
Done.
Yep.
Wait, do you?
Well, we did report on this as last episode. Nintendo not doing so hot, not doing so well.
Okay.
Well, their new strategy is to target your smart devices, such as the phone in your hands right now.
Would be a smart device. I'm still playing Angry Birds, so I don't know what.
Yes, right now.
I'm literally playing Angry Birds. So. Hey, I gotta say, you want some data?
Start recording now.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, their new thing is to send advertisements and free mini games to smart devices such as your phone and tablets. This could be anything. So be aware. Nintendo has not been too kindly to open advertising, but that's from third-party developers where they have or not developers, but advertisers that they've been kind of locked down on. This is kind of an odd thing. It's to basically promote sales of their Wii U console that we stated before was not doing too well. It's really just to convince people to buy their hardware.
So, in our conversation last week, we had kind of speculated about whether Nintendo would go the way of Sega and start offering their games on multiple hardware platforms. And when I first saw this, I had kind of thought maybe we'd been prophetic. And here they are doing it. And when you start reading into it, like you covered, Wade, they're not offering their games on multiple platforms. What they're offering is for you to watch. There are some mini games, but essentially it's a big advertising platform.
Oh yeah.
You know, they're getting you to play ads on your phone to try and buy Mario.
This was, I'm going to butcher this name, is a Japanese news organization by Nikkei. I think that's like Nikkei. Nikkei, yeah.
Nikkei. Whatever.
That reported on this, and then another popular game news site that goes by Kotaku went through this and pointed out that Nikkei did not use the Japanese word for demo. So yeah, it is just basically advertisements for you to buy their hardware. Now, I still stand by my reasoning. It's like, you guys should have been making card games on the Wii U. Would have been perfect.
From the split screen standpoint, in a sense, I get it. Especially from a multiplayer standpoint.
Mm-hmm. But I think if Nintendo wants to get back into this race, drop the peripheral things. I don't need to shake the controller at the screen. I don't need a tablet as a controller. Get me a analog controller with thumb joysticks, a directional pad, and X, triangle, square, and whatever the other one is.
Standard button controls. You're telling us just provide a standard button control and ditch all the motion activated stuff.
You know, I think there is a place for the motion activated, though. I mean, I don't think the casual gaming market should be dismissed.
No, but it
trying
shouldn't be the sole. It shouldn't be the exclusive either.
Well, maybe they want to make that their exclusive and do really well at it. But the problem is they've tried to be too many things. They want to be the casual, but try and make it a little more interesting as well. And they've just botched the, trying to blend it.
So keep in mind,
figure out what you're good at and stick to it.
Well, there was also the same semi-motion control with the PS3 and the 6-axis controller. It still it fell by the wayside, even in the
I think there was one game released.
I had a couple that truly, one demanded the use of the 6-axis controller, and the other had like a weapon that you could control the rocket that you fired with the 6-axis. And that was about it for that. And then they came out with the motion to try to compete more on the casual gaming side with the Wii. That I was really curious to try in some decent games. I would like to try like a first-person shooter using some type of an axis or a motion type, gun control where it was more of a virtual reality feel than just a button. But I haven't had the opportunity yet.
Did they make a gun peripheral for that, where you hook that in? I know they did that for the Wii.
Yeah, I think they did for the
But I don't know if they did that for PS3 and the Move, or whatever it is.
Motion.
The Move?
Motion.
Motion? PS3 Motion? Really?
Pretty sure.
No, I think it's
the
the Move.
Xbox 360 Move or something like that?
Xbox had the Kinect.
Kinect. PlayStation had the Move.
Was it the Move? I thought it was the Motion.
Yeah, I could have sworn it was the Move.
Whatever.
Anywho, so in my opinion, if Nintendo really does want to get back, stop with the peripheral motion control capture things.
They gotta do something, or they've got to just accept defeat. I mean, you can't whine and complain and then not do anything about it.
Once again, I'm brought back to the issue where I believe it was EA and their Frostbite engine, where they said this does not run well on the Wii U, and they're now on their Frostbite 4 engine, and they said we're not making games for the Wii U. Our engine doesn't work well on this at all.
I understand it would be kind of sad from a history standpoint. I mean, Nintendo was the one that started the whole gaming revolution. But how successful would they be? I mean, there are people that still have a love affair with Mario.
Oh, agreed.
What if we drop the pride and go the Sega route? How many people would buy a copy of Mario if I could play it on my iPad or if I could play it on my PS4? I mean, it doesn't need to be awesome graphics. It's a cartoon character. But if I could play Mario on my PS4, I would buy it.
Sure.
I'm not going to buy a Wii U.
Let's be honest. How did Mario come to be? I mean, it was a single, two directions and a jump button. It wasn't.
Yep. There was a side scroller. Yeah, I mean, it was just.
It was basic.
It wasn't rotate this controller 10 degrees and then push the analog stick and then flick up to jump. It was push the analog over and press A.
Yep.
I don't disagree. So. Well, from cyberspace to actual space.
Well done.
Oh, nice segue.
Like that? Thanks. When I was playing Angry Birds, I was thinking of that.
I'm pretty sure how long did it take you to get to bed last night to get that up?
He's been working on that for at least the last 6 hours.
Seriously. So, our good buddy, Mr. Stephen Hawking, the brainiac that he is, has published a paper more or less demanding, or at least strongly suggesting, that black holes be redefined. Now, most people's understanding of a black hole is, well, incorrect. Most people view a black hole as what's commonly known as a wormhole, as a portal between interdimensions, We saw it in the Star Trek movie, the first with Chris Pine, in that they had the red matter, which created a black hole, quote unquote, and that led to essentially time travel and interdimensional travel. Well, what a black hole really is, from my limited education.
Yeah, we are not quantum physicists here.
This would be astrophysicists.
Okay, astro, jeez. Shows how much I know.
See? But a black hole is a remnant of a star or going supernova and leaving a dwarf star behind with immense gravitational pull that can pull everything, including light. Now, in Stephen Hawking's paper, he published that most people understand that a black hole has an event horizon that when the gravity finally kicks in, it's pretty much nothing until you hit this spot, and then it's everything, and you get pulled in. And he is under the impression, without the physical paper to refer to and where he gets the information, but more of a, what's his exact wording here, an apparent horizon where, yes, there's a change here, but it's not the be-all, end-all, or it's not the nothing to full speed in an instant. It is more of a gradual change, but you at least notice that a change is occurring at that gravitational cusp. Now, I'm kind of curious is if there is ever a point where a black hole or a dwarf star, its mass ever reaches that event horizon for its gravity, or as the object itself grows, does the barrier for its gravity expand as well? And I am going to vote on the latter because that's how planets are made. So, but I wonder if there's a limit. Do they end up collapsing under their own size? Do they end up becoming nuclear again at breakdown of material closer to the core? Can they grow to infinite proportions? Such questions have yet to be answered.
Starts a whole other doomsday theory.
Such questions require greater minds than these.
That's right. I need Stephen to answer that question. Come on.
But how does it work?
That's right. When does it end?
I don't understand.
Stephen, though, he's just one of those guys that makes you wonder, and it's just a he shows you what the brain is truly capable of. In a sense, I mean, the guy is just genius, doesn't compare.
An amazingly deep thinker.
But when you've got nothing else for your brain to do all day, he's got pretty much zero motor function whatsoever.
It's all going to his brain.
It's all going to cognitive thought. And what if we all had that ability while also maintaining motor functionality? It's
my God.
A race of superhumans.
And Garrett just started the eugenics wars.
That's right. So that's it for that. Black holes are not black holes, and they need to be redefined per Stephen Hawking.
And who am I to argue?
That's right. You know nothing, Jon Snow.
I know nothing. That's right. And that was an abundance of Thrones reference.
It wasn't really an abundance. It was pretty much a singular event.
That was a single.
Well played. I see where that went from.
So I don't have the really classy segue that you did. So and I've been trying really hard, but I can't beat that. So talk about an epic failure of timing. When was this? About a week ago. The team responsible for keeping Google's infrastructure running, Google's reliability team, decided that they would do a interview on the community website Reddit. It's known as an AMA, or Ask Me Anything. Essentially, the community gets to interview the team. You know, ask them about what they do, or shoot, whatever their favorite color is, whatever.
Okay. So
they sit down and they start talking about their the team, the site reliability team, and how they're responsible for the 24/7 operations of Google as well as all the affiliated stuff, such as Gmail, Maps, Google Plus, etc., etc., etc. And then Gmail crashes.
Great.
Yes.
Well, I guess in one sense, they've just sealed in their job security.
That's right. You cannot send these guys away. We have to have them.
We need them.
Somewhere on the AMA is like, why is Hotmail down?
Gmail.
Hotmail
So
is
why is
Microsoft.
Gmail down?
Yes. So the people that were on the AMA were not the only ones on the team. It was completely unrelated and coincidental. But I just thought it was one of those funny news stories that I just couldn't pass up. It's like...
It'd be funny if they were taking their questions through Gmail.
We're sitting there, guys.
The interview gets cut short because nothing's coming in and nothing's going out.
Like, guys, we're not getting anything. Guys?
Yeah.
Wow, no one wants to ask us any questions. Wow, that's depressing.
Yeah. Check the servers. Make sure we're even getting you. Oh, we're not.
Oops.
Oh. Ooh.
Yeah.
So.
It's pretty funny that they host a deal and everything goes to hell.
Yep.
Well, Wade?
Well,
Passing the torch.
Yep, from outer space to cyberspace to outer space simulated in cyberspace.
Oh. I feel left out now.
The largest battle in the massively multiplayer online game Eve, they basically, really not explain it without calling it a gigantic spreadsheet, saw its biggest battle this week, where a combination of over 4,000 players simultaneously participated in a 15-hour-long battle between two of the corporations on one server.
Holy cow.
Oh, it gets even better.
It says 5 hour long, not 15 hour long.
From what I heard, it was 15 hours.
And according to the article, 2,900 ships were destroyed in the process.
Yeah.
Wow.
Out of the 4,000 that participated. 4,000 players.
More than 50 of those ships, which were just mentioned, were the capital class ships known as Titans. Now there is an in-game currency which can be purchased through real life money, and
Yay!
Microtransactions.
so there were references, or there are calculations here that I'm trying to pull out of my head. Several of these ships, the Titan class, one member from one side came out, stated that 15 to 28 of the Titan ships on his side were destroyed, where nearly about 50 on the other side. Now this is where it actually gets really fun, is where one of these ships cost in real money $55,000.
Wow.
So if you were to just buy everything to get to that point and design and build that particular ship,
would cost you $55,000.
well, I hope that you don't have to buy that. You just play the game.
Yeah.
It'd take a long time.
This battle was prominent enough it even got a write-up in Forbes magazine.
Wow.
Who did a piece on the actual real-world cost of it, given that it's all microtransaction driven. And they have estimated that the total losses incurred by players in the height of the battle ranges somewhere between $300,000 and $500,000.
So that cost relates to what exactly?
The cost of buying your parts and pieces in the game that got destroyed.
Wow.
When one ship costs $55,000.
That's pretty crazy to me. What I understand the need to try to make money through microtransactions, and even WoW is looking to go to free-to-play with, I'm sure, some microtransactions along with other big MMOs and whatnot, but...
They've actually introduced an in-game shop in WoW to buy pets.
Okay, great. But for... Notice I don't care.
Don't bring it up.
Well, I had a point, if you didn't want to interrupt. But to have something in one game potentially cost that much money is bizarre to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's supposed to be casual gaming people, not, Fortune 500 CEO playing this on his weekend who goes, that's only $55K, I'll make that in the next hour, and blows it on something. I mean, it's so ridiculous. I mean, even $1,000 sounds high to me. And
to
for it
blow
to
on
be
the game like that.
55 times that is just bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it.
Apparently, the people that run the game, CCP, said that in the middle of this, they actually had to tweak the servers and force in-game time to slow down because the commands for their ships were flying so fast the servers couldn't process them.
Wow!
So they had to slow down.
They had
time.
to declock the servers.
Well, the servers were running at full speed, but they had to slow down the time in the game, the virtual time.
Yeah. So 1 second actually was 5.
Yeah, exactly. So that there was time for everything to get processed. Yeah. But,
wow.
They have 500,000 players.
Yeah.
So, that's a lot of people.
And that's 4,000 people at one time.
Well, 4,000 people over the course of this, according to this article, it started at 3:54. It started at 3:54 p.m. and ended at 9:18 p.m. Yesterday. Oh, well, that was yesterday according to this. Yeah, so yesterday the 28th. So that's 5-ish, 6 hours. 4,000 people on and off over a 6-hour period, involving the loss of 2,900 ships over that time at a cost of over $300,000 worth of content, I guess is the best way to say it.
Now, it's actually we're looking at the article. Looking at the article here, Bradley, you did say that they slowed down time. They slowed down time to 90% of in-game time.
Yep, that's what it says here.
To make allowance for
developers
the lag.
force slow down time in-game by 90% to make allowance for lag. Jesus.
That's huge.
That's mind-blowing.
So you type in a command and you come back in 10 minutes and maybe it's been executed? I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, I get it, but it's just extreme.
And it's nuts, and it's surprising, what people can really rally against, even if it's in virtual space. Well,
the article said it was 2 primary teams that are the largest alliances on that particular server, and or realm
now.
or however. Yeah, not anymore. So pretty interesting.
What's really crazy is that these ships. I mean, they take. For the better part, I haven't played the game to any full extent. I mean, I want to say for a better part of a year to get.
$55,000 in a year. I need to.
I mean, in game, to save up for a ship that costs.
I'm trying to think. Is it worth to play this game and sell the ship? Sell it on eBay. Here's my ship. It's up for sale.
Maybe
$55,000.
Maybe against terms of service.
Yeah, well, selling items on Diablo 2 is against terms of service too, and that didn't stop about 90% of people. So, but anyway,
I feel a soapbox moment coming up.
Yeah, pretty much. But we got to wrap this up. We are going past time, and that happens when good things are discussed.
Tidbit of fun news: if you do get the collector's edition of Elder Scrolls Online, you do get a 5-day grace period. Not grace period. You get online to the servers 5 days before people who didn't. So if you are getting the regular edition, get ready to be destroyed by guys who stayed up 5 days straight leveling their characters.
So if you have a life and you want to play this game, don't get perturbed by the people that didn't have a life for 5 days for bragging rights. Okay, done. Public service announcement handled.
That was from GameStop, by the way.
There you go.
So
YouTube-wise, Wade, what's going on in your YouTube channel?
More Hearthstone, more Borderlands, Minecraft every Monday. I think I was planning to do Hearthstone every Wednesday, but with you posting a video on Wednesday and the podcast going up on Wednesday.
Now, you could do Hearthstone on Wednesday if it's posts early enough. But Thursday we've got to be mindful of because of the activity Thursdays.
Oh, okay.
So we should be okay on Wednesdays. On the other channel, we've got, I think the Dead Space 2 wrap-up is occurring here either this week or next week.
I'm sorry, did you say Dead Space?
I did say Dead Space. I meant Space Base. The alpha game Space Base should be wrapping up. We got SimCity still going. I'm going to try to attempt Rust again. I was able to play non-recording and had some decent success. So we'll see how that goes. And Splinter Cell is in the queue to wrap up.
I will also try to get back into Awesome Knots because I did like playing that game, especially when you get a guy who thinks he's behind a turret and you slice him and kill him.
Okay, great.
I'd love to see the rage on that.
Alrighty.
I think Bradley died. Oh, you are alive. Okay.
Oh dear, he didn't freeze to death.
Nope.
And that
sounds like that about does it for us.
It does. A little long, but that's okay.
Yep. So, until next time, this has been an abundance of Naught for January 29. I believe that's a wrap.
Laters.
Keep on gaming, everyone.
We here at Abundance of Naught do appreciate you listening in and would also appreciate you sharing us with your friends via the Stitcher Radio app and also iTunes. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and join us at Facebook. Thank you.